Okay, hi again, everyone. It's Emma here at Function Point in Vancouver. Thanks so much for joining in today's session. We're going to go for about a half hour to 45 minutes today, and our presenter is going to be Amanda, who I'm looking forward to doing this with. Today's session is all about using schedules in the Function Point system and how those can be used to help you build in profitability. So I've got just a couple of screens I'm going to go through here in my PowerPoint presentation, and then we'll let Amanda get the party started. All right, so using schedules to build in profitability, it's going to be here today, right now, with both me and Amanda, who I always enjoy working with, and very excited to have Amanda doing the presentation today. So thanks to her in advance for that. Today's agenda, we're going to be going through learning the value and how to go about adding a job using the schedules module. I think most of us are accustomed to building out jobs using the estimates module, which works just great. But it wasn't in the so distant past that we opened up the ability to create work using the schedules. And I know the clients I show that to get pretty excited once they see how it all works together. We do find, and clients do comment to us, that this is a more accurate way to generate estimates is starting with that schedule. We're going to look at how you can manage your resources needed to complete a job and how that is connected to the resource allocation tool and distributing work amongst your team, making sure nobody is overwhelmed, and how easily using the schedules you can assign tasks out to your team. So that's what we're going to be going through today. Again, taking about a half hour to 45 minutes. For anyone concerned or this question came up a lot in last session, yes, we are recording. I remembered to hit the record button. And this session will be posted up to our What's New community help section, hopefully later today or tomorrow, along with a little handout or cheat sheet to go along all about creating schedules. So what I'm going to do now is, with the magic of GoToWebinar, I'm going to make Amanda our presenter, and then she'll start sharing her screen with us when she can. So Amanda, I'm making you presenter. Hopefully you're seeing that little message come up about that.
I am indeed, and I have accepted that. Thank you very much, Emma, and I would be happy to be your present as well as your presenter
Oh,
today.
you. We're going to have good chemistry today, Amanda. It's a stiff competition
Oh,
because Jeremy and I have pretty exciting chemistry when we do these things. There's a lot of banter, but I have faith in you. I'm excited.
thank you, Emma. Can you see my screen?
I can, yeah, and that looks great. And what I wanted to tell people as well, which I failed to do ask questions, or maybe I said that already. Yeah, ask questions as we go. I'll be answering questions, and then Amanda's going to check in with me, or I'll just outright interrupt her with questions as we go. And then we will have time at the end to answer more questions as they come in. But no, I'm excited, Amanda, is what you're going to show us, and just feel free to chime in to me if I can lend you a hand, and everyone feel free to type your questions in as we go.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Emma. And yes, I am definitely interruptible, so feel free to chime in at any time. Now, as Emma was mentioning, last time Jeremy talked about ways to open a job, and he showed everyone how to track time at the job level. You can also track time at the task level, and that lets you get much more specific about who needs to be doing what and when those things need to be done. Now, if a job has multiple tasks, the most efficient way to assign them is to create a schedule. And I'm actually really excited to tell you about schedules today because they're really one of my favorite parts of the system because they're just super, super handy. So since Jeremy already went through the whole opening a job process, I'm not going to go through that again. For those of you who missed it, it is up on our YouTube channel, so you can check it out there. I'm going to start today by showing you how to add a schedule to a job that's already open. So the job that I'm going to use for that is this new student promo brochure, new student brochure right here. And I'm just going to, actually, I'll click on the job name. That'll take me to the summary tab in the job details page. And if I want to add a schedule to this job, I can actually just click this add schedule button on this job details page right here. And when I click that, it will ask me if I want to use the current estimate services as a template. So what that means is that it's going to take the services that were added to my estimate and turn those services into tasks that I can then break down into smaller subtasks if I want, and I can give them each individual due dates and assign them to particular people. So get a little bit more specific about the way that people are going to track time to them. If I had another schedule template, I could use that as well, and I'll go over how to create those a little bit later. But I'm going to start by using my estimate services as a template. Now, this little checkbox here, include external expenses. What that means is, say I had, some external vendors in here on this job. So I wasn't going to be doing the work in-house, but I wanted to still assign someone the task of dealing with those vendors. I might select that. So that's what that's all about. Autofill form from template details just means it's going to bring any descriptions that I have. So I'm just going to click submit here, and that's going to create my schedule. So now I am on the schedule details page, and there are a few different ways that I can edit this, so give these tasks to particular people. I've got these outline, manage, and full views, and really these are just different levels of detail. These are all different edit buttons. Manage is the one I like to use. It's my sort of Goldilocks just right option. Gives you a middle level of detail. So I'm going to click that, and now I can edit my schedule here. So my services have been turned into tasks. I can add details to them if I want to. So I could do that for any of those. I can also assign them to particular people now. So I'm just going to go through and do a few of those. But I'm feeling a little bit vicious today, actually, and I think I'm going to assign a whole bunch of these to Emma. So what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to select a few of these rows by clicking this checkbox on the left and use my batch edit row up on the top. So this blue row is one of my favorite things. This lets me populate multiple rows in my schedule. So those three that I've selected, I want to give those all to Emma. So where is she in here?
I'm at the top, of course, Amanda. I was at the very top.
Oh, of course you are.
Yeah,
How
geez.
could I have missed that?
I don't know. With all the picking on me, you'd think you'd find me more easily. Jeez.
I'm sorry. I'm
Oh,
so
I'll survive. I know where you work.
sorry. Okay, so now we have some estimated hours. These are already in here because these got pulled in from the estimate. I could adjust them at this point if I wanted to. I'm going to leave them as is, though, because I want to be faithful to my estimate. My start date. If I want, say, all of these to start tomorrow, I can use my batch edit again for that. And if I want it to populate all the rows below, I actually don't have to select anything. I can leave them unselected and just go straight up here and say, I want everything to start tomorrow. And then I press tab and it plunks that into every single row. So people are going to get started on this stuff pretty well right away. I could enter in a start time if I wanted to as well. That's totally optional, though. So what about my due dates? I'm probably going to make those a little bit different. So maybe this one's going to be due in 1 week, and this one's going to be due in 2 weeks. Oops, if I could type properly. I find I always type way better when no one's watching me. I don't know. Do you find that, Emma?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And especially if someone's standing behind me. Gosh, I am
Oh, yeah.
just, yeah. It's like what do they call it? Hen pecking or pecking and scratch? I forget the something to do with chickens when like you have to type like a chicken. Yeah, that I just turn
Search and
into.
text. Search and
Thank
text.
you, thank you. Yes, that is what happens to me.
Okay, so Emma, your tasks are all going to be due on February 28th. So I just selected those bottom three rows again to make them all due on February 28th. So one more thing I need to do here. I'm almost done, but these tasks are not going to show up on anyone's to-do list yet because they are in draft status. So as long as they're in draft status, I can edit this schedule to my heart's content, and none of these poor suckers are going to know what's coming down the line. They're not going to know until I mark the status as assigned. And then these tasks are going to show up in their dashboard. So now I'm going to click Save and Finish here, and we are ready to start tracking some time. But before we do that, this might be a good time to pause and see if there are any questions that I should be addressing at this point. Emma?
Ah, hello. Good time to pause. I have had one question, and I feel badly because it's from John, and I had to give him bad news. It was a question that I'm sure other people are thinking of, and that was a little bit to do with task dependencies. And yeah, I wish we had a good answer for everyone on that right now. But unfortunately don't. We know it's something that we need to have in here. It's on the radar of the product group. So apologies for in the meantime, but that was a great question, John. We did just get another one in as I was speaking here. So let me just see what Andrea is asking us here. Oh, this is a very good question as well. And I'm not even 100% on the answer. My head's spinning, but I think we might have something for Andrea. She's asking if there's a way to get start dates to show in the dashboard as well as the due date. And I thought it did. On task to dos, it shows start date. Does it not, or am I dreaming?
I don't know. Let's look at your tasks to-dos list. I
Oh,
don't know that I am
haha.
logged in as you in
Oh,
Chrome. I'm logged in as myself in Firefox.
oh,
So
nicely
just
done.
fine. I only
Oh,
have
yeah.
my due
Due
date
date.
here. But I wonder if I go and I look at my full screen view
See,
for
that's what
my
I'm
tasks and
thinking.
to-dos list.
I hope I'm not misleading everyone. Oh no, it's due date.
No.
That's a really good point though that Andrew's brought up, and let me leave that one with us, Andrea. That's a good one, and perhaps that's an option we should be putting in as a feature to let people see a different view. I know that with something that's coming, as far as the find routines, that you will be much more able to say, hey, when I do a search, let's say I do a search for all my tasks, to say what's going to show in that find screen. So I know I'm sorry, Amanda, I'm getting slightly off topic, but just there are improvements coming as far as the what you see when you look for information dashboard wise. I'll put that in as a feature request though. So thanks for that one. But yeah, I don't have a great answer for you yet. And suddenly, Amanda, I don't know. The floodgates have opened. Now we are getting a whole bunch of questions. So Amanda, why don't you keep going, and I
Okay.
will look through these, see if there are ones that are suitable for you to show or if these are better answered. So just check in with me again if you wouldn't mind, and we'll see what we've got.
Sure. Okay.
Cool.
So while Emma is taking a look at those, I will show you how Emma would go about tracking time to these tasks that I have assigned to her. So I'm on Emma's dashboard now, and you'll see that we've got a little bit, well, quite a bit less detail up at the top because she's in my system as a basic user, so she doesn't have access to all the same modules that I have. But what she does have are some tasks in her to-do list down here. And these are the ones that I just assigned her, so client management, production, and copywriting and editing on my new student brochure. So in order to track time to these, there's a couple things that she needs to do. She needs to change that task status, yet again, from assigned to in progress. And that's acknowledging that she's actually getting started on this now. So once she's changed the task status, she can click the clock next to the task. So this is similar to what Jeremy did, but he did it at the job level up here. She's doing it at the task level, so clicking that clock there. And this saves her a step or two because it actually populates the timesheets window not just with the job name, but also with the service that the task was attached to and to the task itself. So if I had changed this task name or added a description to it, that would show up in there as well. So all she needs to do is click that clock, put her hours in, and click submit. And so now Emma has tracked time to that task that I have assigned to her. So I'm going to switch roles again and be myself. That's what everyone tells you. You should always be yourself. I don't actually follow that, though. I pretend to be other people all the time, especially when I'm doing demonstrations like this.
Oh, you're hilarious today, Amanda. You're on fire. Can
Thanks.
I interrupt you though, just for a quick second, because I know I'm pretending to be someone who interrupts you. Shane chimed in with a really good answer for Andrea, and allegedly, if you look at the schedule in the full mode, it shows the start date. So I know that's not the dashboard, but if you look at the schedule in full screen mode, you will see the task start date. So thank you, Shane. You're hired.
Okay.
And hopefully that helps Andrea, at least in the meantime, till we can do something to dashboards that show that date.
Sure. So next time I'm in the schedule details page here, maybe you can remind me to click that full view, Emma, and just show that to people.
Can do.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, so now let's say I am Emma's boss. I'm not actually Emma's boss, but I'm going to pretend I am for a second. And I want to see if she's tracked her time. I want to see what that looks like in my job financials. So I'm going to click the job number on my dashboard next to that job, new student brochure. And that will take me to the financial tab on my job details page. And I will be able to look at that task now. So that task was a client management task, and I can expand that there to see the details of the timesheet. I could look at that timesheet if I wanted to click there, and I can see that she's put in 6 hours. That cost the agency $210. The actual billable value was $600, and the variance between the billable value of the time that she's tracked and the billable value that I estimated for that task is $400. So I'm still getting that same financial information that I was getting if I were to track time at the job level. So, okay, that is tracking time to a task. Now, let's say I've actually gone through this whole job now and it's worked out really, really well for me. I'm going to be doing a lot of work like this in the future, and I don't want to have to go through that process of creating the same schedule again and again. I know it's going to be always assigned to the same people. Really like those intervals in terms of how I set up the dates. What, Emma, would you suggest that I do?
Oh, you're going to have to ask me that again. I was writing a answer back to Jill, and I missed the question. So ask me again, please, Amanda. I'm here.
Ah, my little multitasker. Okay.
Sorry. I hope you didn't ask me like a really extended question. And
No, I'm 100% sure you know the answer to this,
Ooh, oh
actually.
God.
What should I do if I have a schedule and I know I'm going to have a lot of schedules like it in the future, or I'm going to have a lot of similar jobs?
Ooh, I would say that you'd probably want to make that bad boy into a template.
That is an excellent idea.
Phew, thank goodness. Considering you're pretending to be my boss, I didn't want to get the answer
Right? Yeah.
wrong.
We
I
do have
heard that
performance
part.
reviews coming up
That is true.
with our actual boss.
Yes.
Okay. So to do that, I'm actually going to navigate back to that original schedule here. So I'm still on the job details page, but I have a schedule tab in my job details page and what Jeremy likes to call the gray belt, I think, of these tabs here. So I've gone to the schedules tab, and I can click this schedule details button to take me to the actual details page for my schedule. And this is where I'll quickly click that full view to show where we can see all of that info. So this is a much more extensive version of the edit mode that I showed you before. But anyway, I don't actually need to be in there right now, so I'm going to cancel that. What I do want to do from this page is convert this schedule to a template, because I love this schedule and I want to use it over and over. So I have a button on the schedule details page that says convert to template. So I will click that, and it asks me if I want to convert a copy. That's just because the original is attached to a job, so that way it's going to leave the original as is and make a copy for me, and the copy is going to be my template. And that's what I want, so I've just clicked convert a copy. And now I am on my schedule template details page. And I'm not going to do much to this, just a couple things to make this a little bit friendlier for reuse. So to do that, I'm going to click Edit Details now. So this is actually a fourth way to edit this page. I've got my outline manage in full, and this is where I would edit my task assignments and such. But if I want to edit this top part where I say who I'm doing this work for, etc., I click the Edit Details button. So I'm going to do that now to make this template a little bit easier to reuse. So I'm just going to call it my brochure template. And I'm also going to delete the company from here because I'm going to have lots of clients who want brochures from me, and I don't want that to auto-populate as being for that same company, Aradia Fitness. So I will submit that now, and my template has been created. I'm going to pause now, Emma, and this might be a good place to answer any more questions. I know you've been busily answering those, but any
I
that I should
have.
share with the group.
There was a good one that came in just from Shane. I just typed back an answer to him, but just asking about milestones in the schedule. So I'm sorry, that's a little off topic from templates, but we'll just blame Shane. But yes, there is that milestones column there, which and I think in both, I think in the full mode you get to see the milestones column
Yeah.
and what shows up there. Sorry, I'm just answering.
No,
What
go for it.
shows up there is what you set up in list maintenance. So if you have access back to admin system setup list maintenance, you can say what the milestones should be. Do you have a lot of clients that work with milestones? I admittedly don't, Amanda, but I have one who's bananas about it.
Yeah, I have a few. So the ones who do use them, are very strict about them and
Yeah.
schedule everything, assigning every single task to a milestone. I would say 75 to 80% of my clients don't use them.
Yeah, same. But the ones who use it really dig it. Hopefully that answers Shane's question. Shane, feel free to just type back to me if it didn't. We just got a good question in from George. When you create a template, do all the start dates have to be adjusted?
That is actually a really fantastic question, and I'm actually going to show you how all of that works in about 3 minutes. So
Okay.
maybe if you can just hold tight in terms of
Oh,
um,
I don't know.
I guess
No,
well, the
I'm
short
teasing.
answer is
That's
when I create the template, no, I don't have to do anything to my start dates. I'm leaving them all as is, and you'll see why in a second. So I'm not touching these, even though I'm going to be when I create my schedule from the template in the future, I'm going to be using different dates, obviously. There's a way that I can leverage these for that, and I will
perfect.
show you that.
That's perfect. Yeah, I think that's great. What I like, which I think you're going to do, is that this is a template you built off one that you had already used on a job, right?
Yeah, so
Perfect.
this is the template that I created from the schedule that I created from an
Nice.
estimate. So I have
Nice.
estimate, schedule, so I created the schedule from the estimate and then used that schedule to create this template. So that's
Love
how we
it.
got
Love
to
it.
that.
Love it. Okay, excellent. Well, George and I both look forward to seeing that. Um, and we might just have one more little, I've got a couple more, but let me just see if they are goodies to talk about here. Oh, this is a nice Robin, my one of my favorites, Robin, out on the East Coast, just chimed in with a good tip regarding milestones. So just want to share her tidbit with the rest of the group here. She uses milestones to indicate whether the task is the responsibility of the client or the agency, which is a super
Oh,
cool way to use them.
yeah, that is
That
different, but I can see why that would be useful.
that makes a ton of sense because there are things that, it's like that's in their court, this is in our court. So thank you for that, Robin. I think a lot of our clients have probably just had a little light bulb go over their head, just like the AHA session logo. Fantastic.
Yes.
Okay, well, thanks for checking in, Amanda. That's all I've got for now, but everyone feel free to keep chiming in with tips or questions, and I will answer them or we'll get Amanda to answer them.
Beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to move on from here. Now, if I were to go and repeat that first workflow that I did where I had an open job, say I'll look at this Just Add Love Show brochure job, for example. If I had an open job and I wanted to add a schedule to this job and go through that again, I would click the Add Schedule page. And instead of using the estimate services as a template like I did that first time, I could now select my brochure template. I'm not actually going to do that though. I'm going to cancel out of here because I'm going to show you a different workflow now. And this is a workflow that actually starts with the schedule and uses the schedule as the basis for building out your estimate. Now, Emma, maybe you could do everyone a favor and explain to them why I might want to do that.
I would love to if I had heard your question. Again, I was typing. I apologize. I'm not ignoring you, I swear. Please repeat the
No, no,
question.
you're just like, you're walking and chewing gum and patting your
Oh
head as
God,
you
and I'm
listen.
blonde, so good luck.
So the
So
question
yes.
was, why might I want to start with the schedule and open my job from that? So using the schedule as the basis for building out my estimate.
Ooh, that's a great question. I have a couple of answers. Um, the one I hear from most of our clients, especially the clients who were chasing us to put this forward as an option, is that they feel, and I do agree, that you get a more accurate estimate this way. The other answer is that I've worked with clients who just flat out cannot wrap their head around starting with an estimate because they're thinking, I'm putting 12 hours to design, huh? No, no, I know it's going to be, 2 hours of Karen and an hour of Daniel. And that's how they think of work is in those smaller pieces and who's going to do what. So I hope I've answered. Do I get a gold star on that
Yes,
one? Oh,
you do
amazing.
get a gold star. Yes, you have.
Amazing.
Yeah, good for you. Okay, thank you, Emma.
Anytime.
So, okay, so without further ado, then I'm going to start that workflow from the schedules module up here. So I'm going to open a new job, starting with the schedule by going Add Schedule. And this time, let's see, who am I going to do it for? Beauty Mark Yaletown, I think. So in this template drop-down now, on my schedule add page, I'm going to select that brochure template that I just created, and this is going to be my cosmetic services brochure. And my company is going to be Beauty Mark Yaletown. Whoops, still can't spell. There we go. Okay, and I'm going to submit that bad boy. So now I will have a schedule details page, and this is a lonely schedule right now. It's not attached to a job. And you'll notice that all of this info has been pulled in from my template. So I've got my 2 assignments. Everything is assigned to someone. My hours. I've got my start dates and my due dates. But as I think was it George who, I'm sorry if I got the name wrong.
Oh, no, you're right. You're good.
Awesome. Yay. George pointed out that these dates are not going to be the same dates in this new job. This is probably sometime in the future, and I'm going to want to change those. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to go into my Manage view to edit this, and I have probably my favorite button, actually, in the whole system, and that's this Adjust Dates button. So let's say this schedule worked really well for me in terms of how I spaced everything out. And I don't want to change any of those intervals. I just want to chunk it all forward by a month or so. I can click Adjust Dates, and I can adjust it either by the start or by the end. So I could say maybe I want it to start on February 28th, Or maybe I want it to end on, you know, March 12th. So I can do that if I want. I can specify that I want to move it by either the start or the end. And these workdays boxes, that just allows me to say, well, if that means that things are then due on Saturday and Sunday, tough cookies, kids. You're going to have to work those days, or not. By default, they're deselected because we're nice to people. Fixed duration means that the schedule is going to stay the same length regardless of what I've got checked here. So that's what all that's about. Usually I don't touch it. I just change my dates and click Adjust Dates, and voila, that has all been moved for me. And all I have to do is click Save and Finish. So much faster to do this schedule here. One thing we need to note, though, my tasks are still in draft. I don't have a job yet, so that's actually a really good thing. Don't want people to get started on these yet. I need to add my job still. I can do that from this schedule details page by clicking the Add Estimate button on this page right here. And that will bring me to an abbreviated version of my Estimate Add Edit page. And one of the really cool things about this is that my services are already selected for me. And the reason that they're selected for me is that they're already attached from my tasks. So kind of awesome there. I'm just going to cancel out of that and do that one more time. Beautiful. Okay. So my estimate type here is going to be brochure, and I'm going to be the account executive, and my delivery date on this, I think I said was going to be March 12th, so I'm just going to go ahead and submit that. And Emma,
Yo.
were you watching that?
I was watching that. Yes.
What happened?
Oh, I wasn't watching it that closely. Um, have we had a glitch in the matrix just because we're presenting to 50 odd people? Is that
Yes,
what's happening today? That's
yes.
all right.
This has
Um,
actually never happened to me before.
well, of course it hasn't. That's because we've got 50 people listening. That's just the way it goes. And it's your first webinar, so
And
this
it's
is
my first
this
webinar.
is
Did you
you
guys know
earning your
that?
stripes. This is a hazing.
You guys
This is
know
Function
that?
Point deciding to haze you. We will figure it out. I just wanted, for the sake of Suzanne, Suzanne had asked me to repeat what Robin had said, which was a great little tidbit. So let me do that, and then we'll explore what's happening to you there, Amanda. So hang tight.
Okay, perfect.
So Suzanne, you had asked for the repeat. So Robin, look at you. You're just getting popular by the moment here. Uh, Robin had said that she uses the milestone column to indicate whether the task is the responsibility of the client or the agency. I think that's a super great tip. So rather than using milestones, as I've seen my client who's really bananas for them use them, where they have 50 odd milestones about sort of where the work is at, using it to just sort of note the responsibility. Excellent. So, and do let me know if that is not clear, Suzanne, and we can repeat that. And we've got a great question in from Bob. So this may be a good thing to look at, Amanda. If you want to, you're on your schedule now. Shall I pose Bob's question and then we'll figure out where the glitch is for you?
Sure. Yeah, I'm just messing around with some different ones because
Oh, fun.
but
Eh.
yeah, let's
Uh,
talk about Bob's question.
Great. Bob had a couple of good ones. Could you show us how to, the first one's easy, how to quickly add new tasks to a schedule.
Hmm.
And this is one that I muck up regularly, how to make a task a parent task.
Oh yeah,
Are those
absolutely.
doable? Okay, let's do
Those are
that.
doable.
Okay, those
So
I think
I'll
are
just
good
do that
ones.
from this schedule that I'm on right now. So I'm
Perfect.
going to click Edit here. And so to quickly add a task to this schedule, I've got these plus buttons here. I can just click that and it'll
Okay.
add a new one.
Oh, and
So
it puts
these
it
are new
right
tasks.
below. Sorry, I'm interrupting, but I'm just checking. So it puts it right below wherever you hit the plus, it just pops it there.
That's right.
Oh, perfect. That's
Now,
nice.
if I want to make a subtask, maybe research, say, is going to have a couple subtasks under it. Right now, these are just separate tasks. I would do that same thing, and then I would drag this in just to the right a little bit. And so maybe this is going to be like phase 1 of research, and this is going to be phase 2 of research. And the thing that you'll want to note about that is if you are going to be doing subtasks, you want to make sure that you do those before you build out the rest of your schedule, before you make your date and time assignments on all of that, because so that it doesn't double count anything, it will delete that top row. So I just need to assign these again to a service
Nice.
and
It
to a
was,
person.
oh, that's funny you picked Trevor because I was just going to talk
Yeah.
about Trevor. Because when Trevor explained parent tasks to me and he showed me how what you just had happen there, you give something children and it loses all the information. He was like, "Oh yeah, that's because if you become a parent, you lose your mind." So think of that. If any task becomes a parent task, it loses all its information, just like parents lose their minds once they have kids. So that always makes me laugh when I see how like, "Hey, wait, my line item, where'd my hours and dates go?" And it's like, "Oh, because it had children." Hilarious. I'm not a parent, obviously, so I can make fun of people who are parents. It's part of it's the gift. But no, that's very, very cool. Hopefully, Bob, that did answer your questions. Now, let's troubleshoot what happened. So I was paying attention, but obviously not
Yeah.
sufficiently. So you were trying to do schedule to estimate?
Yeah, but also, you know what, Emma? I'm
No.
using a newish demo system that I got from the sales guys. I'm going to blame
Oh,
them.
let's blame them.
And I have some services in here that are
Yeah.
disabled. So I
Okay.
think some of the services in that original estimate that I was using might
Yeah.
have been disabled services.
Okay.
So, like, they weren't actually active in the system. So when I
Oh,
tried
man.
to do that, it was like, what are you talking about? These don't exist.
Well, I think
So,
what I saw, it looked like you were explaining everything. Hopefully people are still on board that, it actually does work really well. And the clients who love it, that, you make that schedule like you were doing. And then it's just really hitting at estimate. I mean, you were showing a lot of detail there, but I think it can be pretty straightforward to just hit that add estimate button, then you get your numbers, yeah?
yeah, yeah. So I'm going to try that one more time
Okay.
using a different template. I'm going to try it with my test template here
Oh,
because
sure.
this worked for me earlier today.
And
Um,
I will make
let's
sure that you get
try
your
it
merit
again.
badge. I'm going to make sure you get your merit badge for something goes funny on a webinar, and you're gonna add that to your brownies belt.
Thanks, Emma. Yeah, last time Emma's keyboard actually broke on
Oh,
the last
keyboard
one.
and mouse, keyboard
Yeah,
and mouse. Yes. So,
that was pretty special.
well,
So,
yes.
okay, I have just created a schedule from a template. So I've just repeated that workflow that I just showed you here. Click Add Estimate from there. That should bring me the Create Estimate from Schedule dialog. And, ugh, lame.
Is it still
So
being funny to you?
it's still being funny. You know what
This
I'm going to do?
jerk.
I'm going to bring up my other test systems.
Do
I'm going to
it.
forget my fancy AHA one,
Do it.
and I'm just going to fly by the seat of my pants here because I know
Oh,
this
why
works.
not? We can all. I'm not going to name this client because I'm not going to embarrass her, but I love it that she shared with us that she admits she just tried to click on your webpage thinking it was a calendar notification for her. So,
Aw,
thank you, nameless colleague. I don't feel quite as silly, and neither should Amanda. So, oh, I like your demo site. I like your banner. That's fun.
thank you.
Did
Okay.
have I ever told you about my client out of Connecticut who had a banner which was a cartoon version of the boss with a speech bubble saying, "Have you done your timesheets yet?"
Yes, you did,
I
and I
did.
love that.
I love it
Okay.
too. All right, go ahead.
So
I'll
I'm
shut
going to
up.
tell everyone what I'm doing here so I'm not, totally confusing everyone. At least the workflow that I'm showing you is correct. So I'm on a schedule details page. I'm going to convert this schedule to a template, so this schedule is going to be reusable for me. So it's my lipstick, blowout, print ad, whatever, schedule template. And I'm just going to call it my blowout, print ad, template. And it's going to be not for Beauty Mark Yaletown. Okay, so my template is created. Now I'm starting my workflow by adding a schedule. I'm going to add it for Candyman and Company and select my template, which is my blowout print ad template. And this is my let's make it work. And I'm submitting that and adding my estimate. I would adjust my dates first. And now we see it's all looking the way it's supposed to. So it was just the fault of that particular demo site that I was using. So apologies, everyone. My
Oh,
billable
you.
time is
This is
already
great. This is
reflected.
great. I'm chiming in. Sorry. This is great.
Because this was pulled in from the original schedule. So when I created a template from my schedule, it remembered all the services that my tasks were associated with. And so when I went to create my new estimate, starting with the schedule, it's already got that filled out for me. This is what you're going to see, not that weird stuff that I was showing you before. So this is going to be a print ad because that's the template I created it from, and I'm going to charge the house rate for it and submit it. Beautiful. And so now I have my estimate that I created from my schedule. Cool thing about this is that it already made it into an active job. So I don't even have to click that add job button like I usually do when I create an estimate, because when I create an estimate from a schedule, it creates the job automatically. So I've just got my job details button that I could go to if I wanted to take a look at that job. I may still want to submit this estimate to my client, though, get them to approve it. I'm going to pretend I've done that. I think Jeremy would have gone through that workflow with everyone in the last session, so I won't belabor it. I'm just going to call this approved, and yeah, click continue. And now I'm going to go back to my schedule and take those tasks out of draft status, because you'll remember when I created my new schedule from a template, all the tasks were reverted to draft because there was no job associated with it. Now there is a job, so I can navigate back to the schedule in the Schedules tab on the Estimate Details page and click Schedule Details to take me to my Schedule Details page. And now I can edit that and use my batch edit to make them all assigned. And now all those tasks are assigned, and anyone that I've assigned them to could go to their dashboard and track time to those tasks. So if I go to my dashboard, I'm still myself this time. I'm not pretending to be Emma anymore. And I have
It's a
my,
tough job. It's tough enough being me. Pretending to be me must be quite exhausting. So.
it really is actually. I've got my tasks and to-dos filtered for things assigned by me, so we see all of those tasks that I just assigned, and they are overdue because I did not adjust the dates on my schedule, so they still have all the old dates on them. But perhaps now would be a good time to stop and address any last remaining questions, and if anyone needs any clarification on that, please do let me know. So Emma.
Oh, hi. Hi. Sorry, I've been interrupting you quite a bit today. That was great, and I'm really glad you went into your own system. Obviously, there's some glitch in that test environment that the sales guys set up for you. Those dang sales guys.
Bad.
So obviously it works. It's fast, and we haven't had questions come in, so I'm just going to blather. But I do dig that schedule to estimate routine. I like it how you get that number, like that number you had on the estimate, that 1,000 and whatever it was. It's like, yeah, that is because I know who's doing what and when, and I can see how clients really do feel their estimates are more accurate that way. No, it's
Absolutely.
really neat. So I like that workflow. Let's see, Suzanne. Question from Suzanne. Ooh, I'm not. I'm gonna answer that one offline because I have to read that one a little more closely. Suzanne, she likes to stump me. We've had a couple. Okay, I've got a few that I will answer in writing. Um, I think that's great, Amanda. Maybe what let me just see if anyone's asking something we should show. I'm hoping everyone's pretty clear on this. Here's a good one from Charlie.
Okay.
This is a bit about recurring tasks. Now, I don't know how you tend to advise people when you've got something that really happens every 2 weeks, like a client meeting. That's Charlie's example. I often tell people to go use the copy task feature. Do you advise that, or do you tend to say, hey, just go into your schedule and use that plus button? Do you have a preference there on how we should answer Charlie's question just about recurring tasks?
If it's for the same job, I would use the plus button.
Yeah,
Otherwise, yeah. Yeah. I'm a fan of the plus button, I would say. I actually almost never use that copy task, even though, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I just
yeah.
doesn't occur
Now,
to me. You know, you get into your
yeah.
habit that you
No, well,
things you
exactly.
want to
That's
do.
why, I figured it's a good conversation item. The other thing I know our colleague Leanne advises when it comes to things like meetings to maybe not even task them, to have sort of a meeting, maybe have people track times the meeting at the job level, because
Hmm.
you may not want to task if you've got 10 people on your team and there's a meeting every 2 weeks. That ends up being quite a lot of tasks. And you may
Right.
be just as glad to have them track time at the job level for a meeting. I know that's what Leanne advises as well.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
it's sort of one of the blessings and curses with function point. There's a few ways you can, for lack of a better phrase, sort of skin the cat. And I like it because it means it's really flexible depending on what people prefer. You're not locked into doing things in a certain way. But yeah, I'd say track time to the job if it's a meeting, or just use the plus button as Amanda would advise, or the copy task button for things that are recurring.
Yeah, you make a really good point, Emma, about tracking time at the job level, and that's definitely a faster way to do it if you don't have a bunch of specific tasks that you want to assign to specific people. So schedules are really good when you want to be delegating things out very, very specifically. If you don't need to do that and your job is more general, then tracking time at the job level is probably a faster way to do things. So speaking of assigning things and making sure that everyone is actually, I wasn't really speaking of that, but I'm going to pretend that this is a really good segue and talk about it anyway. Let's say that all of my schedules have been created now, and I want to know whether people actually have time to do all of this work that I have tasked out to them. And this is another advantage of using schedules is that and tasks is that you can see this. I can look at my resource allocation, and that will show me how much time people actually have to do these tasks that I've assigned in my schedule. So something I just really want to show you quickly, that's here under Tasks, Resources link. And, oh, I'm signed into my test system now. And that's why I don't use my test system for things like that, because it is pretty messy in there. So I'm going to log out for a second and log back in. Because, yeah, my resource allocation in my usual test system is pretty scary. I'm just going to let that load. And this is going to be prettier.
You can't update tasks on the same window.
There we go. Okay, so remember all those tasks that I assigned to Emma? Those are those green bars. So in my resource allocation here, I can see where people have been assigned tasks and what days those were assigned to. If I saw any red in here, like we just saw on my other screen that was like all red, that's time that's been over allocated. So those are tasks that people don't have time to do. The gray, this is time that people have available. So far it looks like I've been doing okay in terms of creating my schedules and tasking things out. If I want detail about any of that, I can click any of these colored bars and I can see what was due for Emma on that day, and I could change the due date or I could reassign it to someone else if I want as well and submit that here. So that's just a really quick view of resource allocation. Wanted to mention it this time. I'll talk about it a little bit more in my webinar next week, my second webinar, which hopefully will not have the same glitch that I had in this one. And that's about all I wanted to mention here today. Emma, anything you wanted to talk about before we close?
Yo, yes, I do. Can you, it was a great question in from name I can't remember now. Just could you just do a quick little looky-loo at job statuses? Just a question came in like, hey, how do I make live jobs not live anymore? And that's a great question, but maybe we could just have the visual to go along with it.
Yeah, sure. So I'm going to go into my Sweet Lips promo brochure. These are my job statuses. This job right now is open, and these statuses are configurable in your admin area. So if whatever's in there by default doesn't work for you, you can change these, know that. But if I want to say that this is not open, this job has been canceled, say, all I need to do is select that there in my job status window, and that will change the status of the job. Anything else?
Yes. Back in the resources window, this is one that I know people aren't in love with this, but it's something, it's like task dependencies we know. Jason was just asking, or no, Shane was asking, sorry, how it's filling this, and just wanted to confirm for everyone, it is backfilling from the due date.
Yes,
If Amanda hadn't mentioned that,
I
yes,
did not.
we would love to be able to say, hey, I've got a 10-hour task and give you the ability to say, I want to over 5 days to put 2 hours a day to that. We're not there yet. We are well aware that that's something people would like to have. So in the meantime, we are backfilling from the due date. And we've got quite a people are chatty. They're chatty in waves today, which I'm not complaining about. So let me just see what else we've got going on here. Okay, got a couple of good ones. What I might do, I please keep the questions coming. Just hang tight 1 second, man. I just want to read. It's hard to read and keep people entertained at the same time. So let me just
Sure.
see what I've got here.
I wish I had a good joke to tell today.
You've
It was
done
a big
very
help
well,
when
though.
when work
How's your?
hit.
Tell us how your first webinar went. You're not too traumatized by doing this?
No, actually, it's been really fun. Well, I am slightly traumatized by the fact that I showed everyone a crazy estimate for the schedule and it didn't have any services in it because I swear to God, I swear that has actually never happened to me
It
before.
that's exactly how these things go, though, I assure you. Couple of good ones, Amanda. Could
Okay.
you describe again, if you haven't already, the color coding in the resource allocation, like
Yes.
green versus red
Yes.
versus yellow and orange? That would be great. Thank you.
I certainly can. So, I don't have any red or yellow or orange in my current example here, but green, this is stuff that she has time to do. So this is good. Green is good. If I saw any red, like we saw in my other test system briefly before I got embarrassed and put it away, red means that people are over allocated, so they don't have time. There's more to do than they have time available to do it in. Gray means this is time that hasn't been allocated to tasks yet. Yellow is time that they do have for tasks that have been allocated but are still in draft. So let's say these tasks were still in draft. This would all be yellow instead of green. And if she were over allocated and the tasks were still in draft, then they would be orange. So we've got those four tasks. Over allocated is orange or red. Good to go is green or yellow. And those are the colors.
Excellent.
Any other ones?
Yeah, maybe you could. I know we're getting at 10 to the hour, but people are super active here, so this is great. Maybe you could talk to us a bit about where the gray bars are coming from. And if you wouldn't mind going through a job find just to show that editable list feature, because I'm smitten with it, and I think it's going to help out a couple of people who've asked questions. So if you could show us the work calendar just real quick, you don't have to go into crazy detail, and the job find with editable list on, that would be awesome sauce.
Your wish is my command. Okay, so where I set up that availability, that is actually a really good question. It's in admin under system setup, the work calendar. So if I click that, this top part here, this is the availability for my whole office. So by default, it's going to have 8 hours a day for everyone. If I want to give them that availability, I can click this carry office hours to all staff button. So everyone's going to be available 8 hours a day, 7 days a week with these holidays that I've added in there for them. So, if I wanted to add in a holiday for our actual family day here in BC, which is February 10th, I think, I could add that too. And now when I click Add Holiday, that's going to show up in my resources link as a day off for everyone. Right there, February 10th to 11th, Family Day. But what if, say, maybe Chris, maybe he only comes in for 4 hours on Fridays. So we don't want him to be available 8 hours a day in our resource allocation. I've selected his name, and now I've got a little personalized version of that screen just for him. And I've said he's going to be available 4 hours a day every Friday, and maybe he's taking the 12th off too. And that's going to be his personal day off. because he's going to go visit some family somewhere else or something like that. So that's where I set up when everyone is available. And then if I go back to my resources link, we'll see that everyone will have February 10th and 11th off. And Chris Wilson, wherever he is, I can't remember what role he has now. I should have noted that, but he'll have a couple extra days off. Oh, there's some red. So poor Jane is pretty overworked here. And so is Chris. No wonder he's taking a day off. So he's got the 11th and 12th too.
That's
And
awesome. Oh, sorry, Amanda, just while you're there, Christy had asked a good question, and a couple of people also are probably thinking the same thing. Sorry, I know I'm interrupting you again. My apologies. I know, I'm sorry. You'll have to put something in my review about I interrupt too much. People had asked, hey, wait a second, I'm not seeing the orange and yellow. What the heck? This is something that I mess up. Up in the very top, you can see Amanda has her office. She also has resources. And in that resources drop down, you may just not have forecasted set to show, or you can, and so just keep that in mind. If you're like, hey, wait a second, I'm not seeing my orange or yellow, you can look just at the actuals, just at the forecasted, or both. If you find you go to forecasted and you're like, hey, I know for a fact I have, draft tasks in here and they're not showing, just drop a line to support or to me. There may just be something else going on. The tasks do need start dates, due dates, assignees, and a set number of hours to complete. So if you've got a bunch of tasks that are draft with due dates and assignees, but no set or allocated hours, you're not going to see them. So if you need troubleshooting help with that, let us know. We've got documents on it, and we're happy to help. So if you're stuck and it's not resolved by just changing the resources to forecasted, feel free to reach out. We're happy to help.
thank you very much for that, Emma.
No, no. Thanks for the questions to our group here. Okay, well, questions have quieted down a little bit. What you might want to do, Amanda, is you're welcome, or I can actually I'm going to take away your presenter status.
Someone probably should. Clearly,
Yeah.
I'm getting a lot of the power here.
No, you've done a wonderful job. So just hang tight. Let me see if I can actually figure out how to do that. Oh, make myself the presenter. Yes. Okay, show my screen. Hopefully I'm showing, Amanda, am I showing my agenda screen still?
You sure are. Yes.
Phew. Okay. Let me just move on to the next thing. So little icon there just indicating questions are welcome. Keep them coming. And feel free to visit our FP Help site. Up from your top navigation bar, if you hover over Help, you'll see access to the community forum, to our training, to webinar signups, webinar recordings. Feel free to explore that. You'll also, as you hover over Help, see a link to What's New, which is a good one. It's just really a running list I keep of all the latest and greatest documents, downloadable cheat sheets, recordings, etc. And there's a community forum drop-down menu as well. The community forum has had a nice cleanup, but it's a great place to go in, ask questions, help answer questions, make feature requests, etc. Next week, same time, Joy of Tasks. What's everyone doing? Amanda's going to be presenting again. I will be co-piloting and interrupting a lot again. Amanda will hopefully continue to pretend to be my boss and assign me a ridiculous number of things.
I sure will.
Oh, excellent. And please sign up. Everyone's welcome. It'll be recorded again. What we'll do, I will keep the session going for another like 10-15 minutes here, and people are welcome to keep answering questions in the GoToWebinar control panel. If anything comes up that's like sounds really glitchy, we can take stuff offline and I can speak to people one-on-one if there are things that are funky. And otherwise, we'll stop recording in the next minute here. Amanda, thank you so much. You did wonderfully. I'm sorry that you
Thank you, Emma.
encountered an issue there. It's no fun when you're presenting and something goes wrong. We've all had it happen. The connection's bad or the keyboard and mouse die, but I don't think anyone's going to give you any grief about that. You handled it like a champ. So you've
Oh,
earned your
thanks.
stripes on that one.
Mm,
No, hey, well done. And all right, everyone. Well, thanks again. We'll stop recording now, but keep the questions coming and hope to see you all again soon. Thanks so
thanks,
much,
Emma.
everyone.
Everyone.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.